Far away in the quiet highlands of southeastern Anatolia, where the wind moves gently across pale stone hills, there lies a place older than the pyramids, older than the first cities, older even than the idea of writing itself. Tonight, as your body settles into rest, we will travel there, to Göbekli Tepe, the world's oldest known temple, a sanctuary built more than 12,000 years ago. Imagine the soft light of early dawn stretching across an ancient landscape. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of earth that has remained untouched for thousands of years. On the horizon, low hills rise like sleeping giants, their shapes softened by time and silence. And at the center of this stillness, hidden beneath layers of soil and forgotten memories, stand the immense stone circles of Göbekli Tepe. For a long moment, let your mind drift over this landscape. Here, nothing rushes, nothing calls for urgency. It is a place where time seems to move slower, as if the earth itself inhales deeply and waits. As the first rays of sun fall across the plateau, the stones begin to reveal themselves. Tall, carved pillars shaped like the letter T. Some reach over 5 meters high. Each pillar was carved from a single block of limestone, brought here by hands that lived long before the wheel, before metal tools, before agriculture. Yet the craftsmanship is precise, almost impossibly refined. If you look closely, you can see images carved into the stone. Foxes with elongated bodies, coiled serpents, wild boars, majestic cranes, and human-like figures with arms carefully folded along their sides. Every carving seems to whisper a story, but the voice is soft, ancient, and patient, as if inviting you to slow down, breathe, and listen. Archaeologists believe this place was built during a time when people still lived as hunter-gatherers, moving with the seasons, following herds and wild plants. For them to gather in large numbers, to shape enormous stones, to arrange them in circles aligned with celestial paths, it was something extraordinary, almost unimaginable. Some say Göbekli Tepe was a temple of the first priests, a sanctuary where early humans tried to understand the sky, the spirits of animals, and the mysterious rhythm of life and death. Others believe it was a place of meeting, where scattered groups came together under the open sky to share rituals, stories, and perhaps the earliest form of community. And then there are those who feel something deeper. They say the stones hum with ancient intention, that the circles are aligned with stars long vanished from our modern night sky, and that Göbekli Tepe was not simply built. It was dreamed into existence. For thousands of years, these stones stood under sun and moon, absorbing silence, wind, and time itself. And then, mysteriously, the people who built it chose to bury the entire complex. Not destroyed, not abandoned, but carefully covered with earth, as if protecting a sacred memory. As you breathe slowly, imagine walking deeper into the heart of the stone circle. The air grows warmer. Shadows stretch across the ground. Your footsteps are soft, almost soundless. Here, within the center, the two largest pillars rise, towering guardians facing each other, their surfaces marked with ancient symbols. Some believe they represent human forms, the earliest depiction of the human spirit standing tall before creation. In this quiet moment, imagine placing your hand against one of the stones. It feels cool, timeless, smooth. 12,000 years of wind have shaped its edges, yet the carved animals still look alive, as if they might step out from the stone and walk into the twilight. Let your breathing become slow and steady as you stand in this ancient sanctuary. Above you, the sky turns a deep blue. Stars appear one by one, shimmering gently over the plateau. This is the same sky the builders of Göbekli Tepe once looked upon. A sky without cities, without noise, without boundaries, just endless quiet. Here, in this stillness, you feel the weight of centuries lift from your shoulders. The night is calm, ancient, welcoming, and the old stones seem to whisper, not in words, but in a soft echo of memory. You are part of time. You are part of the earth. Rest now. Everything is exactly as it should be. As the scene fades into darkness, you stand at the threshold of the world's first temple. A place built not only of stone, but of silence, intention, and the early dreams of humanity. Breathe, settle. Let the ancient night guide you deeper into calm. The night deepens above the plateau, and the ancient stones stand quiet beneath a sky scattered with soft, silver stars. As you breathe slowly, you feel the darkness settle gently around you, like a warm blanket woven from the quiet of 10,000 forgotten years. Here, at Göbekli Tepe, the silence is not empty. It is full of presence. A presence both human and something older. A presence that has watched over this land since the earliest chapters of memory. Let the calm of this place surround you. Let the stillness carry you deeper into the story. Far below the surface of the modern world, beneath layers of soil and time, archaeologists discovered more than just stone circles. They found patterns, subtle and harmonious, suggesting that this sacred place was not built at random. Pillars face certain directions. Carved animals appear in deliberate sequences. Even the spaces between the stones seem to form paths of meaning. Some researchers see here an ancient calendar, a way to read the sky, to follow the seasons, to understand the turning of the earth. Others sense a spiritual geometry, shaped by the earliest human attempts to connect with the unseen. As you imagine yourself walking along the outer circle, notice how the pillars stand like silent guardians. Each one is unique. Some carry symbols of fearsome beasts. Others show graceful birds or delicate insects. A few bear no images at all, their smooth surfaces left untouched for reasons we may never know. These carvings were not decorations. They were messages, words written in the language of stone. Perhaps they told of the animals that roam the land, or of the spirits believed to guide them. Perhaps they recorded ceremonies, the rise of stars, the cycle of seasons, or the stories of ancestors. We can only guess. But in this guessing, something gentle unfolds, an awareness that long before us people stood on this very ground, looking at the same moon and seeking meaning with the same quiet longing. As you continue along the circle, you feel the earth beneath your feet become softer, warmer. Wind brushes lightly across your skin, moving through grass that has grown and regrown countless times above this ancient plateau. In the distance, you can almost hear a faint rhythm, the echo of footsteps, the murmur of early voices, the soft sound of stones being shaped. Not loud, not intrusive, just a quiet impression, like a memory that doesn't belong to you but welcomes you nevertheless. You approach another chamber, a deeper circle, still half buried, its pillars emerging from the ground like the ribs of some ancient, sleeping creature. This enclosure feels older, as if its stones carry an even earlier breath of the world. When you step inside, you sense the temperature shift, cooler, calmer, as though the earth is exhaling around you. Two central pillars rise at the center, tall and confident, aligned so precisely that scholars still wonder how such early people could achieve it. They stand almost like companions side by side, facing the entrances of their stone world. Their surfaces bear faint images, a bending fox, a pair of cranes, symbols whose meanings have faded into gentle obscurity. Let your breathing slow as you gaze upon these ancient guardians. Imagine the rituals that once unfolded here, not as dramatic events, but as soft gatherings under the night sky. Perhaps people stood in quiet circles, hands rested on warm stones as they whispered prayers to the spirits of animals, to the wind, to the silent moon above. Perhaps they lit small fires, their flames flickering gently against the limestone walls, casting shadows that swayed like dancers around the circle. Or perhaps they simply came here to listen, to the voice of the earth, to the stars, to the sound of their own breath echoing softly in the stillness. Nothing about Göbekli Tepe feels chaotic. Everything suggests intention, calmness, purpose. And as you continue drifting through this ancient space, you notice how your own thoughts begin to soften. The world becomes quieter. Your mind becomes lighter. Even the stones seem to breathe slowly, as if guiding you deeper into rest. Above the temple, the sky shifts from deep indigo to velvet black, full of shimmering constellations. And for a moment, you feel as if you too are part of this vast, gentle night. Just another presence in the long history of the human spirit, standing beneath the stars in peaceful wonder. Let this feeling settle warmly within you. Let your body loosen. Let time slow down around you. Here, in Göbekli Tepe, in the world's first sanctuary of stone, there is no rush, no fear, no burden, only calm, only breath, only the quiet heartbeat of the ancient earth, inviting you to rest. The night settles deeper over the Anatolian plateau, wrapping Göbekli Tepe in a calm, ancient silence. You stand within the stone circle, breathing slowly, feeling how each breath connects you to the stillness of this sacred hill. The tall, T-shaped pillars glow faintly under the stars. Their shadows stretch softly across the ground, moving in a quiet rhythm, as if the stones themselves are breathing with the night. As you walk toward another enclosure, the earth feels smooth beneath your feet, shaped by countless steps taken long before history began. Ahead, a partially buried circle appears, its pillars rising only a little above the soil, like gentle reminders of a world waiting beneath the surface. Archaeologists believe Göbekli Tepe is not a single temple, but a vast complex. Dozens of circles layered across centuries, built and rebuilt by people who returned here again and again. Each enclosure carries its own atmosphere, its own intention, as if every generation added a quiet chapter to this sacred place. You pause at the edge of the buried chamber. A faint carving catches your eye. A slender bird with folded wings, etched with delicate lines. The figure is simple, yet full of calm purpose. It may have symbolized the sky, or freedom, or a spiritual messenger. Its meaning is lost to time, but its presence feels gentle and peaceful. You move toward a terrace overlooking the valley. The landscape opens before you, soft and wide beneath the moonlit sky. Imagine standing here thousands of years ago, when the night was darker, the stars brighter, and the world quieter. Perhaps the builders watched the constellations rise and believed they were signs, guides, or sacred patterns. Some researchers think the entire complex may align with celestial events, the turning of seasons, the movement of stars, the rhythm of the year. Standing here, you can almost sense how the ancient people must have felt, humble before the vastness of the sky, yet connected to it in a deeply spiritual way. You return slowly to the central enclosure. The two towering pillars stand at the center, facing one another like silent companions. Their carved arms, almost human in shape, wrap gently along their sides. Some call them guardians. Others see them as early symbols of the human spirit. The air grows warmer near the stones, as though they hold the memory of thousands of sunsets and countless quiet nights. You let your hand rest near one of them, not touching, simply feeling the presence of something ancient and enduring. As you breathe, a soft calm washes over you. Thoughts become lighter, drifting like mist across the plateau. There is no rush here, no noise, no weight from the modern world, only the steady heartbeat of the earth beneath your feet. You imagine the people who once gathered here, small groups moving gently between the pillars, voices low, fires flickering softly in the darkness. They may have shared stories of animals carved on the stones, or listened to elders speak of seasons, spirits, and the cycles of life. Everything here suggests harmony, not grand ceremonies, but simple, intentional gatherings beneath the open sky. You stand in the center of the circle once more, surrounded by ancient guardians. The night deepens, but it feels warm, welcoming. The stars shimmer quietly above, the same stars that watched over the builders long ago. In this calm, timeless space, you sense a quiet message carried by the stones. That rest is natural, that stillness is ancient, that the earth has always known how to guide us back to peace. Let this feeling settle gently inside you. Let the night embrace your thoughts. Here, at Göbekli Tepe, you are part of something old, something peaceful, something that invites you to simply breathe and rest. The night above Göbekli Tepe has grown darker, softer, and even more still. The air carries a gentle coolness, the kind that settles slowly over the land as the world falls deeper into rest. You stand near the stone circle, breathing quietly, letting the calmness of this ancient hill seep into you like warm light fading into twilight. The pillars around you rise in silent formation, each one touched by moonlight. Their long shadows create subtle patterns across the ground, soft, drifting shapes that move with the slightest breeze. For thousands of years, these stones have watched the same night sky, holding memories of people who lived and dreamed in an age far removed from ours. You walk slowly toward a smaller enclosure that sits a little apart from the others. Half of it remains buried, but a few of the stone pillars lean gently toward the open sky, as if they are stretching to breathe the night air. The ground feels warm beneath your feet, warmed not by the sun, but by the deep stillness of the earth itself. This chamber carries a lighter energy, calmer, more intimate. Its carvings are simpler. A pair of foxes, a snake winding along the edge of a pillar, and what seems to be the outline of a human figure. The details are faint, softened by thousands of years of wind and time. As you move closer, you sense a subtle shift in the atmosphere. It feels as though this part of the temple was used for quiet moments. Not large gatherings, but gentle rituals, shared stories, or silent reflection. You imagine a small group of early people sitting here, their voices low, their presence peaceful. Perhaps they came to honor the animals they depended on. Perhaps they sought guidance from the changing seasons. Or perhaps they simply gathered to rest beneath the stars, just as you do now. You sit near one of the smaller pillars. Its surface is cool and slightly rough, but the touch is comforting. In the moonlight, the carvings look almost alive, as if the fox might leap from the stone, or the snake might uncoil and slip into the night. Let your breath slow. Let your shoulders relax. Let this ancient stillness loosen the weight of your thoughts. As you rise and walk back toward the main circle, the night reveals more of its beauty. The sky is clear, scattered with stars that appear almost close enough to touch. a soft wind moves across the plateau, carrying with it the faint scent of grass and distant earth. You pause near the central enclosure once more. From here, the entire site stretches out around you, layers of stone, earth, memory and silence. It feels like standing inside the heartbeat of time. You imagine how the temple once looked when it was new. The pillars freshly carved, their surfaces bright under the sun, fires flickering between the stones, voices rising softly in the dusk, people moving slowly, deliberately, not rushing, not competing, but building something meant to last beyond their own lives. And then, in a gesture that remains one of archaeology's deepest mysteries, they chose to bury the entire site, not ruin it, not abandon it, but gently cover it with earth, as if tucking the temple into sleep. Some believe this was an act of reverence, a way to protect the sacred place when its purpose had been fulfilled. Others think it marked the end of an era, a quiet farewell to a world that was slowly changing. Whatever the reason, the act feels peaceful, intentional, and full of quiet dignity. It is the kind of ending that is not really an ending, but a soft transition from one form of existence to another. You stand in the center of the great circle, surrounded once more by its ancient guardians. The night is deep now, rich and full, yet completely gentle. You feel as if the stones around you are breathing with you, slow, steady, calm. The earth beneath your feet hums with an old, quiet energy. Not loud, not intense, just a soft pulse. A reminder that everything in life has rhythm, and every rhythm eventually leads to rest. As you look around, a sense of connection fills you. Connection to the people who once built this sanctuary, to the animals carved into the pillars, to the sky that has watched over this hill for millennia, and to the deep silence that binds it all together. Here, in the oldest temple on earth, you feel something simple and profound, that you too are part of the great story of time. That rest is not a pause, but a natural continuation of existence. That stillness is not emptiness, but clarity. Let this understanding settle warmly inside you. Let the soft darkness of night wrap around your mind. Let the ancient peace of Göbekli Tepe guide you deeper into calm. As the stars shimmer quietly above, and the old stones stand watch, patient and eternal, the night above Göbekli Tepe continues to deepen, folding gently around the ancient hill like a soft, endless blanket. The air grows cooler but not cold. It carries a comforting stillness, a quiet presence that feels older than memory itself. You stand near the central circle, breathing in the calm, feeling how every stone, every shadow, every whisper of wind moves in slow harmony with the night. The pillars around you rise tall and steady, touched lightly by moonlight. Their edges glow with a pale shimmer, revealing carved figures softened by thousands of years of patient silence. They stand like guardians, not rigid or intimidating, but calm, welcoming, watchful. You take a few slow steps toward a smaller enclosure resting partly beneath the earth. Moonlight spills across its stones, illuminating carvings that seem to drift between clarity and obscurity. A crane with elegant legs, a proud wild boar, and simple lines that form shapes we no longer recognize. These symbols belong to a world where stories were spoken through stone rather than words. A world where understanding came not from reading, but from feeling, from watching the stars, following the seasons, listening to the breath of the earth. A gentle wind moves across the plateau. It brushes against your skin like a soft hand, light and steady, carrying the scent of dry grass and ancient soil. You pause and let the wind pass through you, letting your breath fall into the same quiet rhythm. With your eyes half closed, images form in your mind. A group of early people gathered around a fire, their faces illuminated by a warm, flickering glow, hands moving gently, tracing symbols in the dust. Their voices low, almost like a soft chant carried by the wind. The tall pillars around them watching silently as sparks drift into the night air. Perhaps they gathered here to honor the animals carved into the stones, creatures that lived beside them, guided them, challenged them. Perhaps they shared stories about the changing sky, or the paths of stars, or the cycle of seasons that shaped their world. In their silence and simplicity, you sense something familiar, a longing for connection, a quiet search for meaning, a calm acceptance of life's mysteries. When you open your eyes again, the present-day world feels far away. Only the moon, the stones, and the wide horizon remain. The night seems to hold you in a gentle embrace. You walk slowly toward a ridge overlooking the outer slopes of the hill. From here, the entire sanctuary reveals itself, circles forming gentle patterns, stones leaning subtly toward the sky. The layout of Göbekli Tepe blending perfectly with the natural curves of the land. Nothing here feels forced. Nothing feels out of place. It is as if the sanctuary grew from the earth itself, shaped by hands that were listening to the quiet voice of the land. You imagine how the hill must have looked thousands of years ago. The stones brighter, freshly carved, fires glowing between them, people moving slowly through the enclosures, their steps soft and intentional, children peeking at the strange animal shapes, elders watching the sky and telling stories with patient wisdom. And then, in an act that remains one of archaeology's deepest enigmas, the people chose to bury the entire site, not destroy it, not abandon it, but gently return it to the earth, stone by stone, layer by layer, as if tucking an old friend into a peaceful sleep. Some believe it was an act of reverence, a way to protect the sacred structure once its purpose was fulfilled. Others think it marked a transition, the end of an era, the quiet shift from one world to another. Whatever the reason, the gesture feels calm, thoughtful, almost tender. You return to the main enclosure and stand between the two central pillars once more. Their presence is steady and grounding, as if they have watched humanity's earliest questions and still hold the echoes of those first whispers. The ground beneath your feet seems to hum with an ancient pulse, not loud, not forceful, just a slow rhythm that matches the steady beat of life itself. You inhale softly, your shoulders relax, your thoughts dissolve into the gentle darkness. In this quiet moment, a deep understanding rises within you, that long before cities, long before books, long before modern life filled our minds with noise, people gathered here for the same reasons we pause today, to feel connected, to find meaning, to breathe beneath a peaceful sky, and to rest. Let this calm settle inside you. Let the ancient peace of Göbekli Tepe wrap around your thoughts. Let the night carry you deeper into quiet. Here, under the watch of the oldest sanctuary on earth, you are safe. You are part of the long story of humanity, and the stones around you stand guard with a patience that has lasted 12,000 years. The night above Göbekli Tepe has reached its deepest calm. A gentle darkness rests across the plateau, as if the world has slowed its breathing. The moon hangs low, casting soft silver light over the stones, and the whole sanctuary feels suspended in a quiet, timeless moment. You stand near the central pillars, their tall shapes rising like peaceful silhouettes against the sky. Nothing moves quickly here. The silence is full, warm, and carrying the weight of memories older than written history. You begin to walk along the curved path around the main circle. Your steps are light on the warm earth. The stones shift gently in the moonlight, their carved figures appearing and fading as shadows glide over them. Ahead lies another enclosure, resting close to the slope of the hill. Half of it remains covered by soil, as if the earth is keeping it safe. A pillar near the entrance bears the faint carving of a serpent, smooth lines winding down its surface. Time has softened the design, but its presence feels calm and meaningful. A warm breeze touches your skin. It carries the scent of dry grass and distant hills, moving slowly between the stones like a soft tide. Your shoulders relax, your breath deepens, and your thoughts begin to quiet. You sit on a smooth stone at the edge of the circle. From here, the outlines of the sanctuary stretch into the night. Larger enclosures, smaller hidden ones, and the dark shapes of surrounding hills blending into the sky. You imagine how this place looked long ago. Fires glowing softly, voices murmuring in low tones, children listening to stories under the stars, elders watching the sky and understanding its rhythms. Perhaps they read meaning in the rising constellations. Perhaps they believed the moon guided their journeys. Perhaps they simply felt connected to the vastness of the night. The stars above you shimmer clearly, forming shapes recognized by countless generations. Their calm presence offers comfort, a reminder that the night sky has always watched over the earth. You rise and walk to a small ridge where the hill slopes downward. Below you stretches a quiet valley, wide and pale under the moonlight. Ancient paths seem to shimmer faintly. Maybe traces of animals, maybe the routes people once walked as they approached this sacred hill. You imagine early humans climbing toward the temple at dusk, their movements slow and deliberate, their steps guided by reverence and curiosity. Maybe they carried simple offerings, stones, feathers, grains, tokens of gratitude to the land that sustained them. Returning to the central circle, your breath becomes slower. The two tallest pillars rise before you, steady and calm. Their faint, human-like forms, arms carved along their sides, appear almost alive in the moonlight. Here, between these ancient guardians, you feel something shift gently within you. A quiet understanding settles in, that long before modern life filled the world with noise, people gathered here to breathe, to connect, to be present under a peaceful sky. Let this calm fill your thoughts. Let your body settle. Let the ancient rhythm of Göbekli Tepe guide you deeper into rest. The stones rise around you, silent, patient, eternal, as the night continues to watch over you with gentle, ancient peace. The night at Göbekli Tepe settles into a deeper calm, as though the land has lowered its voice. Moonlight rests gently on the stones, softening every edge and shadow. You stand near a smaller enclosure, half buried beneath layers of soil. The wind moves slowly across the plateau, carrying a warm, ancient stillness. As your eyes adjust, you begin to notice faint shapes beneath the ground. Soft rises, subtle curves, the outline of circles hidden below the surface. Archaeologists believe that only a small part of this sanctuary has been unearthed. Most of Göbekli Tepe still sleeps beneath the earth, untouched for thousands of years. You walk across the slope, feeling the earth change gently under your feet. Some places feel firm, others softer, as if stones lie just beneath the surface. You imagine how this hill once looked when every enclosure stood above ground. Circles alive with carvings, firelight, and quiet footsteps. Now, as you stand above the buried chambers, a soft wonder fills you. Nothing here is gone. Everything is simply resting, preserved by time and layers of soil. You kneel and place your hand near the ground. The soil feels cool at first, then warmer beneath the surface, as if the earth still holds the intention of the people who shaped this place long ago. A gentle breeze crosses the hill, moving through tall grass and brushing lightly against your clothing. Its sound is soft, almost melodic, and it carries a calm that settles across your shoulders. You continue down a gentle decline toward another buried circle. Only a few stones rise above the soil, like quiet markers of what lies below. Moonlight glides across them, revealing smooth surfaces and faint carvings worn by time. You sit beside one of these stones. The earth here holds a quiet warmth. With your eyes closed, you imagine the chamber beneath you, its tall pillars still standing in perfect formation, carvings sharp and untouched by sunlight, waiting patiently through the passing centuries. Archaeologists call these enclosed layers time capsules, preserved with extraordinary care, not by nature alone, but by the deliberate act of burial performed by the people who built the temple. Why they did this remains one of Göbekli Tepe's deepest mysteries. You rise and walk toward a higher ridge. From here, the silhouette of the main enclosure stands clearly under the moon. The site looks both complex and simple at once, a careful design blending perfectly with the land around it. Your footsteps grow quieter, your body feels lighter. The night seems to guide you gently, allowing thoughts to drift and soften. You reach a flat section of ground where the first archaeological trenches were opened. The earth bears faint, shallow lines, reminders of hands that brushed away soil to reveal the ancient pillars below. Even these marks feel peaceful, like part of the rhythm of the land. You pause and look into the darkness. Somewhere beyond the moonlit area lie the untouched chambers, rooms filled with carvings no one alive has ever seen. The idea feels calming rather than mysterious, as if the earth is simply keeping them safe. Your breath slows. The air around you feels warm and steady. Göbekli Tepe reveals itself gently, layer by layer, without hurry. You begin walking back to the main enclosure. The stones rise slowly into view, familiar and calming. Their tall forms look steady against the night sky, like ancient companions. You step once more into the central circle and inhale softly. The night feels quiet and welcoming, holding you in a gentle embrace. Let this peace guide you. Let your thoughts soften and drift. Beneath your feet, the hidden chambers of Göbekli Tepe rest in deep silence, timeless, patient, holding a calm older than history itself. The night at Göbekli Tepe settles into a gentle rhythm, as if the land has accepted your quiet presence. The moon has shifted slightly in the sky, and its light falls across the plateau in soft, silver waves. You walk slowly along the edge of the main enclosure, letting your breath deepen as the stillness fills the air around you. Beyond the stone circles lies a wide, open landscape. Here, the ancient builders of Göbekli Tepe once lived their daily lives. Simple, quiet, shaped by the rhythms of nature. Although no houses remain, the land itself remembers. The soft slopes, the narrow paths, the gentle curves in the earth hint at where people might have walked, rested, cooked, or told stories under the open sky. You step onto one of the gentle ridges just beyond the main sanctuary. The ground here feels slightly different, smoother in places, as if worn down by countless footsteps. Perhaps families moved along this path every evening, returning from gathering plants or carrying water from nearby springs. Perhaps they paused here to look up at the stars before descending to their small shelters. You imagine a small community living near the sacred hill. Temporary huts made of branches and hides, fires burning softly at night, children weaving grasses into simple ropes, hunters returning with small animals, sharing food around a warm flame. Their lives were not hurried. They moved with the turning of the seasons, adapting gently to each change. As you continue walking, the breeze carries subtle scents: dry grass, cool earth, and something faintly sweet, like distant flowers. It is easy to imagine the same wind brushing against the people who lived here long ago. Their senses must have been keen, attuned to every shift in the weather, every rustle in the grass, every movement in the sky. You pause beside a low rise where the earth dips slightly inward. This place feels sheltered, protected from the stronger winds of the plateau. Perhaps early families gathered here at dusk, sitting close to one another, sharing warmth and stories. The flicker of fire would have cast gentle shadows that danced across the night. You picture an elder speaking slowly, telling stories of animals carved into the pillars. Maybe he described the fox as a clever guide, the crane as a messenger of long journeys, the serpent as a symbol of change. These stories would weave through the minds of the listeners, anchoring them to the land and the sky. As you move farther from the sanctuary, you begin to sense the subtle pattern of daily life around this sacred hill. Small groups gathering herbs or wild grains, people shaping simple tools from bone and stone, children laughing near shallow pools after a rare rainfall. Night falling slowly, bringing with it the deep comfort of shared silence. You walk across a gentle slope that leads to a flat terrace overlooking the valley. The moonlight spreads across the land in a wide, calm glow. Below, faint lines in the earth suggest ancient routes, not roads, but paths shaped by repeated journeys. They lead toward the sanctuary, converging softly, as if drawn by the gravity of meaning. You imagine these people approaching Göbekli Tepe at twilight, their steps slow, their movements deliberate, their hearts filled with quiet reverence. Some may have brought offerings, stones polished by river water, feathers, seeds, or pieces of carved wood. Not valuable in a modern sense, but deeply meaningful in a world that honored simplicity. The wind grows gentler as you return toward the main enclosure. The sounds of the night settle around you, a faint rustle of grass, a distant echo of insects, the soft shifting of air. Nothing loud, nothing sharp, only the natural rhythm of a world untouched by urgency. You approach the stone circles again. From this distance, they look like soft silhouettes rising from the earth, peaceful and steady. The tallest pillars catch the moonlight, glowing faintly like ancient lanterns guiding your way. As you step closer, a sense of warmth fills your chest. It feels as though the sanctuary has opened itself to you, sharing not only its age and mystery, but its gentler side, the life that once flowed around it, the people who walk these paths, the quiet beauty of their world. You enter the central enclosure, breathing softly. The stones stand around you like old companions, reminding you of the calmness that shaped this place. The night holds you in a peaceful embrace. Let this feeling deepen. Let the soft memory of ancient life guide your thoughts. Here, at Göbekli Tepe, you are surrounded not only by stones, but by the echoes of lives once lived in harmony with the land. And the night continues its quiet watch, steady and timeless. As you drift deeper, the night above Göbekli Tepe is now at its most silent. The air is cool and still, and the moonlight drifts gently across the plateau like a thin silver mist. You look upward, and the sky feels impossibly wide, a deep field of stars stretching far beyond sight. For the people who gathered here 12,000 years ago, the night sky was not distant, not abstract, not something to be studied from afar. It was alive. It was a guide, a calendar, a quiet companion in the rhythms of life. You walk slowly toward the edge of the hill, where the sky opens even more fully. Constellations shimmer softly, each one bright and steady. They look almost untouched, the same shapes early humans would have recognized, the same light traveling across millennia to reach this ancient sanctuary. You pause and breathe in the calm, letting the stars settle gently into your awareness. Imagine the builders of Göbekli Tepe, standing exactly where you stand now. No cities, no light to block the sky, no noise to distract from the quiet. Only the vast, star-filled dome above them. For them, the movement of stars marked time. The rising of Orion could signal the start of winter. The slow turning of the North Star could guide long journeys. The crescent moon might signal a gathering, a ritual, a story told in the open night. You close your eyes and imagine how their world felt. A world where the sky spoke in patterns, in gentle cycles, in calm truths known by everyone. Perhaps the earliest rituals at Göbekli Tepe included watching the heavens. Groups may have gathered at night, sitting near the pillars, their faces lifted toward the sky, listening to elders speak about constellations and their meanings. You picture a quiet circle of people around a soft fire, embers glowing gently, voices steady and slow, hands tracing shapes in the air that mirrored the constellations above. Some archaeologists believe the central pillars might represent celestial beings, symbols of the sky walking among humans. Others think the carvings of animals mirror star patterns, a fox for one constellation, a crane for another, a serpent for the winding Milky Way. Whether these ideas are true or not, you feel a peaceful certainty. The people here lived with the sky, not beneath it. You lift your gaze again and find a soft trail of stars stretching across the sky. The Milky Way glows faintly like a river of light flowing through the darkness. Its presence feels gentle, ancient, and endlessly inviting. A light breeze moves past you, carrying a coolness that touches your face. You breathe in slowly, letting the air fill your lungs with a sense of open space. Standing here, you feel something subtle, a connection not just to the land, but to the sky itself. A feeling that the same stars watched over the builders, the same stars guided their nights, and the same stars now shine above you, unchanged, steady, eternal. You step away from the ridge and walk back toward the sanctuary. The pillars rise like silhouettes against the glowing sky. Some seem to lean slightly toward the heavens, their carved tops pointing upward, as if acknowledging the cosmic patterns above. In the quiet, you sense how deeply the builders must have trusted the sky. Its cycles were steady, its light was constant, its beauty reminded them that the world was larger, older, and filled with gentle mystery. As you move between the pillars once more, the sky opens above you like a calm ocean of stars. You breathe slowly, allowing your thoughts to drift with the soft tide of the night. You imagine ancient hands touching the stones, eyes watching the same constellations, voices whispering memories and hopes under the same moonlight. The air grows still, the stones steady, the stars bright. Everything feels connected, the land, the sky, the ancient people, and you. Let the calm of the night settle deep inside you. Let the stars guide your thoughts into softness. Let the gentle rhythm of the universe carry you further into rest. Göbekli Tepe, the earth, the sky, and the quiet breath of time all wrap around you now, steady, timeless, as you drift deeper into peaceful silence. The night at Göbekli Tepe has reached a quiet fullness, as if time itself has slowed to a gentle pause. The sky above is wide and deep, filled with calm, steady stars. The air is soft, carrying only the faintest whisper of wind moving across the ancient hill. You stand near the central enclosure, letting your breath settle into a slow, natural rhythm. The tall pillars rise around you, familiar now, their presence steady, patient, almost comforting, as if they have accepted you into the silence they've guarded for 12,000 years. You take a few steps toward the far edge of the circle. The stones cast long shadows that stretch into the darkness, creating quiet patterns that drift with the moonlight. Everything here feels calm, grounded, peaceful, as though the land itself is gently exhaling. The air is warm, the night quiet. You close your eyes for a moment and listen. There is no sound but the soft rustle of grass, the gentle sweep of breeze, and the steady beat of your own breath. You imagine ancient people standing in this very place, their feet on the same earth, their hands touching the same stones, their eyes lifted to the same sky. They lived without the noise of modern life, no rush, no hurry, no constant movement. Their world moved in slow, natural cycles, guided by the rhythm of seasons and stars. Perhaps that is why Göbekli Tepe feels so calm. It was not a place of fear or conflict. It was a place of stillness, a sanctuary built not for power, but for presence. You walk to the outer edge of the enclosure and look across the plateau. The land rolls softly into the distance, its shape illuminated by pale moonlight. For a moment, the world feels untouched, as if you are standing in a time before time, a night held outside the rush of centuries. You breathe deeply, letting the quiet fill your lungs. Your thoughts loosen, drifting away like soft clouds passing across the sky. You imagine the people who once gathered here, soft footsteps in the dust, voices murmuring gently, hands carrying offerings of stone, feather, or grain, fires glowing lightly between the pillars, casting warm flickers across carved animals. Stories shared without hurry, each word carried by the night air like a quiet blessing. Perhaps they came seeking guidance, perhaps they came seeking connection, or perhaps, like you, they came simply to rest. You return slowly toward the center of the sanctuary. The two tallest pillars stand before you, steady and timeless, guardians of a world long gone, yet somehow still alive in the quiet of the night. You pause between them. The air feels still, almost warm. A sense of peace settles across your shoulders, gentle and deep. Here, in this space, you feel something shift inside you. A soft realization that ancient people, despite living in a world so different from ours, shared the same quiet longing for meaning, the same desire for calm, the same need for rest. You breathe slowly, letting your body relax even more. Your thoughts move like slow waves, each one softer than the last. The night around you remains perfectly still. You imagine the buried chambers beneath your feet, circles of stone resting in complete silence, their carvings untouched by light, waiting patiently through the centuries. Their stillness feels like a gentle reminder that not everything needs to be uncovered, not everything needs to be explained. Some things exist simply to bring quiet. You lift your gaze one last time toward the sky. The stars shine with steady light, just as they did for the people who first walked this hill. You feel connected to them, to their hopes, their questions, their gentle lives. You feel connected to the earth beneath you, warm, ancient, supportive, and you feel connected to the stones, silent companions in the slow breathing of the world. A deep sense of peace settles over you now. Every muscle softens. Every thought grows quiet. Your mind moves into a stillness as ancient as the sanctuary itself. Let the calm of Göbekli Tepe hold you. Let the quiet of the night guide you deeper. Let the steady light of the stars carry you gently into rest. Here, in the oldest sanctuary on earth, surrounded by stones older than history, you are safe. You are peaceful. You are exactly where you need to be. And as the night continues its slow, patient watch, you drift softly into a deep, quiet sleep, carried by the breath of the ancient world.